Poem chant by Bill Bissett. Bissett is a poet and painter from Vancouver, and he's here today on Extension with B.P. Nichol. These two poets write sound poems, concrete poems, and just plain poems. They experiment with tape, topography, and the human voice. They publish their work both here and abroad. And they're Phillis Webb's guests today on this series of programs devoted to modern Canadian poetry.
This is the death of the poem, as I have faithfully reported it. November 29th, 1966. As I have faithfully reported it, this is the death of the poem. Though it is gone, we do remember, word for word our thoughts dismember in loving memory. Dear Bill, I was sorry to hear of the death of the poem in deepest sympathy. Dear Wayne, the poem is dead, long live the poem. Dear Dave, how about that? What do we do now? Golly. Dear Rob, sell all stock. Tell DJ the poem has crashed. Now for all time, ever and ever, continually as it was in the beginning when the word was and shall be for all time when the word is not ever again to be. The poem is dead, is dead.
Well, take off your mask, Bill, and join the group. That's a poem by B.P. Nichol, which says the poem is dead. Do you really mean it, B.P.?
Well, when I wrote it, what I meant was the poems I were writing at that time are now dead. Yeah.
That is, each new poem gets written, all the others die?
In a sense.
For you?
For me, yeah.
Yeah, the poem is dead, long live the poem, yeah.
Was this poem written for three voices?
No, not originally. It was designed just as sort of an obituary notice for the particular mood I was in. But we did it with voices, and it doesn't come across too badly as a sound poem.
But you can read it alone, using sort of one eye on the left column and the other eye on the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other one's just sort of meant as a visual rhythm. You know?
Or you can go in between the lines, too, like cross through from one side to the other.
Well, your poems are particularly open in this way. That is, many of them you can read diagonally almost.
Oh, yeah.
Up and down, left to right, right to left.
Yeah.
Just to break with the linear thing. You know, get away from it as much as possible.
To drop off the borders, you know. Yeah. And dropping off the borders like this poets like Brazil, Belgium, Holland, England, Scotland, you know, like it's not just a Canadian trip, Japan, like everywhere doing poems that are like this. Yeah.
What is making this one world of poetry? What is...
Not having the margins, you know, not having the borders, I think. Not being limited to a sentence construction, you know, or an idea. You know. But play.
Being used more to play, just to working with language as a system of signs, and being able to communicate at that level.
But you're still working very much with the word as type in most cases. That is, either mimeographed, or, i.e. written on a typewriter, or with printing machines.
Oh yeah, but we can move the words around and play with them. They're not stranded in particular thought syndromes, you know. We can do anything we want with them. Yeah, so we really free ourselves of type. It's like the tool. And doing this, you really show that it is a tool, you know.
This is what they mean when they say concrete, that you're getting away from the word necessarily having a specific association. Like you can take a word like war, remove it from the context of war, and look at it as a specific thing, as an object.
Yeah. Like literature doesn't mean long live the empire. Literature is words.
Yeah. The way you say literature reminds me of liturgy, and a lot of these poems sound almost liturgical.
There is a chant
quality to a lot of them. Yeah.
You have one, Bill. What's it called? How we use our lungs for love.
Yeah. I might get to read it to you now. How we use our lungs for love. Glue, grope fast, and error the master sleeps. A bed with June, and funny the sweep of eyebrow. The climb out of teapot, and after, when, and only then did sleep the hairy one in the mouse trap, the pipe that reached the ceiling, the horse came out of in disguise as a blue kettle drum, its sides knocking and slapping about the farm that appeared to us in our eyeball carol, and dream we did forever after in the violin the wise men held to be awake for. Keeping cushioned in the string, the summer is here, a sun sing for each one settled down to. Reaching foot ring, the valley is feed, romp, play, June, walk, down, beach, soon, cushioned shore, pebble keys, a log house in the wilderness, sign above the path, junk for the wage time, and the bubble serene come for the yellow funereal carriage, carried in the weeping truck per three, collapse pace above lights, knock, pause, plug per house, a little message, sweep hill, and walk, chatter, clank, gun, bristles, west, oat peak, peyote, the postcard, a red open, cling, a fall, a letter, now swing to minus, then did they receive forever stairs and falling, sing before buzz, hanger, mirror, lijva, tree, sap, spine, when did papers out of their minds come in, gather, birds sing after feeding, sometime come radios to airward only, string, red sun, loosen monsters to carry summer beams, advice to arms, pastel, leap, leap, paddle, a stepping stone, rock, a link, a skip, a thrill, a para, trilling on the bow, sweep up the hill, cars, trucks, radios, games come to fill in down. They seem open and green, per morale, lucka, 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 and ducka. For when the wheel combines is everything. When the wheel is everything, up to summer singe. 7 come per logging under sand pebbles from be walking light, be a walking light, be a walking light, stand across the seam under beside along, pacing the pair of them hair, hers, gold and pearl, lovely upstairs thrill, move, thighs, light, gold, camel meanders, coming the fall, swamp, swing, beetles, nest, slides, blanket, summer, sand, door, stain, before, hang, after she saw him swing, hyena, thriller, up, softer in a pussy and a rose, over, softer in a pussy and a rose, over willow, under him, she, 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 him, daisy, pull up in, oh, this beach is a cool in my mouth, she, him, sang, he, him, sang, under him, away, in.
Boy, I can get high on that poem, practically. Has Ginsberg had any effect on you?
Oh, he's affected everything. Yeah.
And his poetry, the way he lives, his
Oh, yeah.
trips to
Yeah,
India and
yeah,
so on.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you opened yourself to this influence also?
I wouldn't, the things he did with his poetry I found influential, but not particularly his way of life. There was a time when it held an interest for me, but then I found that for myself, I had to be true to myself and not to somebody else's way of life,
His poetry and his way of life were probably the same thing, though.
In Ginsberg's
Yes,
case, this
which
is
is
true.
what, of course, you're saying. Yeah. Yeah,
Well, what is for you the most important thing in your life? Is it writing poems?